What's up, guys? Thought I would do a little video. So, yesterday was the 29th of March 2025, and yesterday was actually a big day for it was the anniversary of the ending of a certain TV show. So, yeah, yesterday marked 3 years to the day that Holby City came to an end on the 29th of March 2022. Now, to be honest, when I think back and when I look back at it, I still feel like, for me personally, this, my personal opinion, um, I still feel like they made a big mistake. In getting rid of Holby City. I mean, you think about it, they've got rid of Holby City, they've got rid of doctors. Is Casualty going to be next? I don't know. I mean, Casualty, I used to enjoy it. It was something I used to watch on a Saturday night. But for me, I just don't enjoy it anymore. I feel like the finish has really like so many of the good characters that actually made the show worth watching have left. And I mean, I'm not saying that any of the characters in it right now are really shit, but they're never going to be as good as the old characters. It has to be said. Casualty. I mean, Holby City. The reason I loved Holby City was I remember going back to 2022, it was actually better than Casualty in every way. Like Holby City was the show to watch on a Tuesday night, and I loved watching it. I watched it every week. I was always looking forward to 8 p.m. on a Tuesday night, as I knew that was Holby City night. Apart from the days where it was kind of taken off and moved to a different day, which that did happen sometimes, but most of the time it was Tuesday 8 p.m. was Holby City night. I mean, obviously, the final episode, when I think back to it, it was like such an emotional episode to watch. It's probably one of the most emotional episodes I've ever watched when it comes to Holby City. I honestly don't think there was a more emotional episode than that one. Obviously it was such a big episode. It was like saying goodbye to the show after over 10 years. Um, and it was like it was great. Well, just over 20 years, in fact. So it was kind of shocking, really. And I think that what added to that shock factor, I think, was the fact that they made the decision to kill off what was arguably one of the show's biggest characters, that being Jack Naylor. I mean, when I think, obviously, when you look at Jack Naylor, I mean, she was a character. It felt like they would never kill off. Like, no matter what happened, it felt like they would never kill Jack Naylor off. Like Jack Naylor, like when I thought about the show ending, like Jack Naylor was one of those characters that I sort of envisioned kind of popping up from time to time in Casualty. I actually did think that was going to be the case. Maybe they would not kill her off. Um, maybe she would still, pop up from time to time. I feel like that's what we could do with more of, really. It's like some of the old faces from Holby popping up. I mean, we've seen Sasha Levy in one episode, we've seen Fletcher, I think, in one episode. Obviously, we had Donna back for a certain period of time. We've seen Eli, Dr. Eli Ibrahimi, we've seen him as well, but we've not seen any others. I mean, if I'd have said, I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that Alex Walton Shaw it's obviously now going to be extended, I would have said maybe it has with that get Smithy, not Smithy Fletcher, get Fletch back. But unfortunately, we won't see him back as well. Obviously, Alex Walton Shaw's now going into EastEnders. It's crazy, really. I mean, it still feels somewhat weird to kind of think that it's been 3 years now since Holby City was taken off the air. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's been that long. We've had, obviously, they brought back Waterloo Road in its place. Do I think it was a bad thing bringing Waterloo Road back? I mean, I honestly don't have a problem with the fact that they made that decision to bring Waterloo Road back. I honestly think that it was a worthwhile decision. I think, the last couple of series of it haven't actually been that bad. I have watched series, I think we're on series 14 or 15 now, I think, and I've watched both of them. And obviously, I was very impressed. I mean, for me, to be honest, I've always been a little bit sour, a little bit, in a way, I'm still a little bit sour about it now. I wish that they had never ever they'd never ever asked Holby City. I wish that we had turned back the time and, turn back the time and get them to change their minds on that decision, but it's impossible. The thing is now, it's like it's so hard to actually find the full Holby City episodes because for some reason they've taken, like, they're not even on, you can't even watch Holby City on BBC iPlayer now. And I feel like that's a bit ridiculous, the fact that you can't even go back and watch the old Holby City episodes on BBC iPlayer because they took it off. Like, I don't feel like they needed to do that. They didn't need to take Holby City off of the BBC iPlayer. They left that on there so that people could go back and watch the full episodes. Because it's not only possible to find them. The only real option you actually have of finding full episodes is Daily Motion. I just think to myself, like, why did they remove Holby City from the BBC iPlayer? They didn't need to do that. But there you go. I mean, Holby. I think a lot of people probably still miss Holby City. I think, it's mad, really, to think about the fact it's been 3 years. As I said, it really doesn't feel like it's quite been that long since since they got rid of Holby. It feels like it's only been a year or so, but yeah, it has been 3 years. And what a run it had, though. There's no denying that Holby City had, a really, really great run. Obviously, it was never gonna go. I don't think it was ever gonna go for as long as Casualty did, but it was one of the best. It was at one point. I actually think it was better than Casualty at one point. That's the thing. Like, that's why I feel like it was so bad that they got rid of Holby City, because at one point Holby City was actually better than Casualty, without a doubt. I honestly do think that it was better than Casualty at one point. Like, the storylines obviously don't leading up to the final episode in 2022. They were really, really good. We had some really good episodes. It was great to see some of the old faces return. Obviously, we saw Guy Self return, Elliot returned, Noah Fango returned, Michael Spence. We saw Joseph Byrne had a cameo appearance in the last episode. Griffin was in the last episode. Obviously, we saw Serena and Bernie come back. We saw Oliver Valentine come back as well. So there were so many returns that happened in the lead up to the final episode. I mean, when I think back to it, I feel like there are some names that I would have liked to have seen, come back for the final episode. I would have liked to have seen Faye. And I think brilliant. I think it would have been interesting if they brought Patsy Hensit back to Faye. Would have also been nice to have seen Chrissy come back as well for the final episode. Maybe, I think the one return I was quite gutted that we didn't get was Frida Petrenko. And like, she was an iconic character, really, from Holby. I mean, who didn't love Frida Petrenko? That was someone they should have gotten back for the final episodes. That would have been awesome if they had gotten her back, and it's a shame they didn't. But we did still get some pretty awesome returns nonetheless. Obviously, as I mentioned, the likes of Oliver Valentine, Michael Spence, Rick Griffin, Bernie and Serena, Elliot Hope, Noah Fanga, Joseph Byrne, all popping up in episodes in the lead up to the final episode in March of that year. It was a fun time to be a Holby fan, to be a Holby City fan. It was a fun time. Um, I think it's fair to say that Holby City really went out in style. Like, the final episode was just so, so good. I mean, obviously it was very emotional for a lot of people, but it was so, so good. And I think it's one of those episodes that we will remember for a very long time. Do I think Holby City made a mistake having Jack Naylor off? I won't say no, but I won't say yes. I've always been pretty sort of 50-50 on that one. I've never really known I don't know what to say on that one. I mean, I've never really been, 100% on the side of yes, they did make a mistake, but, I mean, as I said, I mean, as I said, I was watching Casualty, I do watch Casualty every now and then. Like, I used to watch it every week, and now I just got bored of it, to be honest. It just, like, the episodes just don't excite me anymore. Like, I prefer, when I think of Casualty, I prefer the days when we had, characters like Zoe, Nick, we had obviously Polly, Dixie, Jeff, Noel, Big Mac, those were the days of Casualty. I mean, even the days when we had characters like Rita and Honey and Ethan and Hal and Lily, and obviously, they were good. Obviously, Robin as well. So and Casualty is never going to be that good anymore. I think, well, obviously, the only three characters in it that I still actually like are Ian, Dylan, and Jacob. That's about it. Um, but yeah, I mean, right, obviously, what I had a great run in Holby City, and I think a lot of fans, I think in a way, I think a lot of people do still miss Holby City, and I think it's not a bad thing that people miss it, because it was so good, there's no denying that it was, truly incredible, truly one of the biggest and best series we've had for a long time. And you look at it and you think, wow, it's just incredible, like what they've done with the series. It's just absolutely incredible. And I don't think it's a series like that will ever be forgotten. Holby City will always be missed by a lot of people who love the show, and it will always, there'll be those people that always want it to come back, but we know that will never happen. That's the saddest thing, is that we know that no matter how much we want Holby City to come back, it will never come back. It will never be revived. The least they can actually do is put the episodes back on BBC iPlayers so that people can actually watch them without having to use Daily Motion. That would be good. That would be good if we had, like, not like, I'm not saying they should have every series of Holby City on BBC iPlayer, but maybe put a few of the series back on there so that people can watch them. But then again, I mean, it'd be crazy if they did put every episode, a single episode of Holby City on there. It would be madness. But will they do that? I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of the episodes from 4 episodes from series 12 and series 13 on YouTube. I have watched them. Um, but obviously for the rest of the series, you would probably have to rely on Daily Motion. But yeah, I mean, for 3 years, though, 3 years since we said goodbye to Holby City, that is crazy. So I thought I want to do a little video on that tonight, give my thoughts on that, I guess. Have an awesome rest of your night, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Bye bye.